What's going on YouTube? Today we got the G-Speed back up on the bench and time is ticking. We got 2 weeks left before the comp on the 29th. Now that comp is at Park Colburn, where we've always had them 9 o'clock tech time, 9:30, wheels rolling. So if you're in the area, come on down. It'll be a great time. $25 buy-in, or if you're like myself and you're running 2 trucks, that's $50. Big spender, no joking. But we're gonna adjust the elephant in the room real quick, which is the body. Now this is not the Tamiya high lift body that I was wanting to run. My buddy's painter just wouldn't have it painted for me in time, and having to come back on top of that. So I picked up a J Concepts creep body instead. It's temporary, which this is a lot prettier than what the temporary body was for the VRD Carbon. Got all nice painted up, stickered up, and we're also running Banff tire inserts. They're amazing. I've been running them on my Carbon for a while now, and they're awesome. Excuse me, got a little bit of a cold going on. They're awesome, even though they're the wrong ones for my application, but they're still great nonetheless. Let's take this body off, which I just have 2 body pins up front, and then 2 millimeter screws on either side, and the body just pops right on off. But yeah, like we have to officially mount the transmission, because currently it's only in by 1 screw. Ideally I'd like to have 2. We gotta put the motor in, set motor mesh. We gotta drill that hole first of all before we can do anything. I already have it drilled, just so I can see where the hole needs to be. It's not really like a pilot hole, it's more like a guidance hole. And also, I have 4 Super Swampers now. I just bought another set off A-Main, and they came. I put them on, put the Banff tire inserts on. There. I'm gonna get you guys in closer so we can get to work. Okay, you guys are closer, and you can obviously, I absolutely butchered this slider. Now I was gonna originally fabricate a battery tray. I'm not the best fabricator out there in the world, so I poorly modified the G-Speed slider. I just took the drum and just cut 2 slots, which the one was too far back, and then and also it melted, and now it's covering the screw heads for the slider, sorry. So that's lovely. Speaking of slider or skid plate, we're gonna have to remove this transmission so we can get this thing bolted up properly, because if I comp the way it is, it's not gonna be a good day. And I did try to put some 225 brass SLW hubs that I had just kicking it, and I put them on the back of my VRD Carbon, and it looks goofy. I didn't like it. Maybe it would have performed there because it was like a narrower rear, but not a fan of the way that looked. Okay, now that we got that screw out, you could kind of, I'm going to use a pointer because it's going to focus on the finger. You can kind of see I had a hole drilled here, which is the guidance hole slash pilot hole that I was talking about earlier while I was getting the body off, which means I bought new tools, which is exciting. So I just picked myself up a countersunk drill bits. These just go into the drill. And they just go right on in. Which countersunk is nice because you're not gonna be able to see it. I don't think this is gonna be like trying to show a blind kid how to read. You could kind of see it, never mind. You could kind of see how it has like that sunk in bit and then the hole. That's what we want, so that way our screw head is nice and flush with the skid plate, not giving us a hang-up point, which in a comp crawler you definitely don't want. You don't really want a hang-up point in any of your rigs, or a screw sticking out, because either it's going to create a hang-up point for sure, or you can risk breaking that screw head off and have fun trying to get that out. We're only going to do this on the bottom side. We don't need to countersink the upside, if that makes sense. So we just gotta take our drill bit here. Make a mess on the bench, and our transmission should now be mountable. And it doesn't matter that our skid is not threaded, since there is threads on the transmission to where it mounts. Here's a little bit closer look at that drill bit. I just got these off Amazon. Focus. And I also picked up a set of digital calipers, which would have been handy when I did the slider. You know, kind of measure the battery and then make life easy, but we all know I don't do that. Everything the hard way with me. Trying to make sure you guys are lopsided. Alrighty, now we can put the drive shafts back on, the motor in. Well, I think I'm gonna take transmission might be coming back out, so I like to set the motor mesh with it outside the car. It just makes it easy. Or I'm like putting the drive shaft in apparently, like. Man, I hate having a cold, it sucks. I don't think anyone likes having a cold. If you do, that's a little whack. Okay, that is in and drilled. Which I thought. We're just gonna set like that, which is a bonus. Now we need our screws to mount said transmission into place. Okay. 2 screws ready to go in. Need my VP driver that I love so much. Magnetic, the bearing on the end, so you can just spin so nice. Flip this guy over and stick the screw in here. I know I said last video that this thing would be running under its own power, but that's this video, I'm telling you. Like, Oh, I see. Things aren't lined up right. Oh no. I don't think I'm gonna be able to put. It's in, but don't know if it's ideal. Yeah. Oof. I mean, I should put a motor on quite the angle. Like, I still have to screw it up. That was a mistake. Okay. What I think I'm gonna do is I have a couple of other Vader skids, so I'm not too worried. I will get it done on my own time, because that sucks. You could still have it running, but it just won't be really ideal. So moving on to the next thing, which can be bolting that in. That might be a better angle for you guys. I'm gonna put the motor in. I've already went ahead real quick and took the servo out because the long hand on the driver won't allow me to get the bottom screw for the motor. I think I might just drill that hole a little bit bigger, so then it picks it up, which is the plan as of now. And if that doesn't work, then it looks like I am putting a new skid on, which I really don't want to do, because there's melted plastic over a screw head, and that's going to be a bitch to get out. Okay. And I need that spacer because my motor is hitting my skid plate. Thought I was gonna need it. You guys won't be able to see anything. I don't know what you can see and what you can't see right now, but something. I'm not gonna have that much time once we have this thing running to kind of get to practice with it a little bit. One more day that I go out to my grandparents, which they have a rock piler, which is what I mess around on, and I only get a day to understand this rig-ish. Kind of have the idea of what's going to do in certain situations, but and it's also going to be kind of cool because at the same time I'm running 2 rigs at the comp, which is the plan, and kind of see which one I need to fine tune a little bit more. Okay, we got that spacer under there, So hopefully now my motor should not hit the... Beautiful. There's just a little bit of clearance that you need. How does that look? That'd be good. Good enough. No, it is. I think I'm still hitting the skid plate. No. Okay, I thought it was. Don't make it. Put the chassis on the ground to put this last screw in, because it'd be a hell of a lot easier than what it was gonna be to get this on. Last screw for the motor. I don't know if this is gonna be too long or not. No. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna have it up against the gear. I don't know how it's gonna like things, if that makes sense. Okay. Now, I guess we can do motor mesh, since we have a motor bolted up to the transmission. These had screws off to the side. Tried to remember what they're for, but I will remember, I hope. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, my bad. We got to take these drive shafts off before we do that. There's one. We're just gonna put the screw back into where it was and thread it in, so that way we don't lose it, because that wouldn't be too good. I just gotta remember that's in there. Same with the incision one, we're just gonna do the same thing. Oh, come on. There we go. It was on a little tight. Okay, that's what's off. Now I need to go grab the receiver, so we can plug everything in. I also need a battery. I also need batteries in the radio. I'll be back. Ooh, that's blurry. Forgot the battery for the radio is, yeah. Okay. Plugging motor in. This one. This one. You go with you. You go with you. Go. Double checking. We're good. Right there for now. Here is our Fly Sky NB4 Plus receiver. Where? Now I got fine channel 2. They're not marked on here. Interesting. So I'm missing. It's gonna be. Where is the? Okay. I guess it's this one and this one. Yeah, battery. I'm going to be running a 1400 mAh ProTech 3S. Nice lightweight battery, small, compact, awesome sauce. Oh, I forgot. The on button is when you plug in the battery. Okay. Turn on the radio first.
Welcome to Noble Plus.
Beautiful. Now we plug in the battery. Forgot this doesn't have an on-off switch. Actually, it does. And it was on. Let's have that off. Seems reasonable, right? Now we can go ahead and turn on our ASC. Made all the noises that a Castle should. I need my motor and transmission, please. Thank you. Now, if we hit the throttle, I have stuff is all messed up here because channel 2 is throttle, channel 1 is steering, and that's not supposed to be like that. Just so you're aware.
Signal lost.
Yes, I know. No, that's channel 3. That's not it either.
Signal lost.
Shut your mouth.
Signal lost.
There. Okay, we're gonna turn everything off and back on again.
Power off receiver first.
Yes.
Shutting down.
Okay. Turning on radio.
Welcome to Noble Plus.
And now if we go to turn the ESC on. If I were to hit the throttle, yes. We have throttle, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that does sound a little tight. I'm gonna loosen that off a bit. Where is my 2mm? Let me have throttle. It's exciting. That was a little too tight, so we're gonna go about here. Let's see if I like that instead. That's not even touching, so nothing will happen. You can do the paper trick. If you slide a piece of paper in between your spur and your pinion, your mesh is golden. Old school trick for setting mesh, but as you can see, it's just the gear on the inside. No spur. Have my fingers clear of moving gears. That might be smart, right? And hold on. The sensor wire isn't plugged in either. This could also help. I'm getting excited. That's what's going on here. Because this thing works. There we go. Throttle. That's too tight. It liked it before. I'm gonna go ahead and set this. I'll be right back. This is day 2, which the beginning of this video was recorded last week. Now the comp is this weekend. Now I've ran into some hurdles. The ultralight transmission from Deluxe one just bought right in, so I drilled holes, as you can see, and they don't line up. So in order to run 2 trucks this weekend, I had to pull something out of the 10-1 because it's the gift that keeps on giving, because I'm having to take the receiver out, so I might as well take it out of there, and it should bolt right up because that's a SCX10 style bolt pattern. And the transmission that I have in my 10-1 is a Vanquish 3 gear. I've had in it for quite some time, not this particular one. I've bought this used off eBay, but I've been running Vanquish 3 gear in the 10-1 for like a year, ever since I've had it. And as you can see, the motor's already in. I've already gone ahead and set motor mesh, so we're good on that front. This can just bolt right in. And also, like so. And also, what is going to be nice is the motor is going to be a little bit more forward than backwards. I mean, it's kind of going to stay in the middle, but it's going to be a little bit more forward than rearward, which is what we want. Okay, let's get this bolted up. And you can obviously see the tires are off. And if you're wondering why, last weekend, as you probably have seen, I took the carbon out. I have the proper inserts in it now, so we're good there. And I took the tires that were on here to kind of help get them scrubbed in before the comp, which is now this Sunday. So I'm going to be out on the rock trail at my grandparents for quite some time, getting to know the truck. I'm only going to be able to run it pretty much Saturday, and that's all the time I really get with it. I was hoping to run it Sunday, but transmission didn't want to bolt up, so as you know, that would delay things, so that couldn't happen. It was a bummer, because getting to know the rig a little before you run it kind of helps, which I don't have that much time really to do, being at my grandparents' place, but at least it's better than nothing. And this transmission is bolting right up, like unlike what we had before. And also, I also took off the brass rear portal covers to put onto the VRD carbon to see kind of how it would act with some weight in the rear, because again, this wasn't in no shape to run Sunday. Okay. Next order of business, I believe, will be drive shafts.
And then put the tires back on, which I'm just going to do real quick off camera. There we go. Kind of moving backwards a little bit before we go forwards. But that's how things go sometimes. Okay, let's see how much of a pain this is going to be. I would much rather have ran the deluxe ultralight transmission because it's lighter than what this 3-gear is, given that the ultralight was the carbon fiber, not as big, compact, nice and lightweight. And honestly, that was quite a pain, not gonna lie. Putting your dry shaft on should be the most easiest thing in the world, but not in my world, it's not. Go. Kind of like I was saying earlier, where did the screw go? There it is. It's been nice to run that ultralight. Blurry, everything. This is small, compact, lightweight. That is not the case. You got the front and no time for the rear. Yeah. I need to take that 2 mount out. And the place in which the comp is taking place, it's still at Port Colborne, but that new spot that might have been where it was going to go down might not be the new spot, if that makes sense. The spot that we comp. So it might be in a similar spot. Rear drive shaft is connected. Whoa. There we go. Rear drive shaft in. The brass pearl covers I'll put back on later. You don't need to watch me reinstall them. This is the same process as what I did before. Okay, now it's time for the tires. I'm gonna go put the tires back on. All fours. So I'm gonna get tires on real quick and then I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, I've gone ahead, put those 4 tires on. I also went ahead and I reinstalled the servo. The reason why that was out is because the long handle VP drivers, when I was trying to do the ultralight, would hit and have my driver on an angle. And, excuse me, I don't want to strip anything. Now we're getting ready to power everything on. I want to center that servo, but before we do that, we're going to plug everything back in to the receiver the correct way. So this way the servo will self-center. And then we can go ahead, put the servo horn on, drag link, all of that, and have the servo centered, which the drag link that I'm going to be using may be a little too long, so we're going to have to work with what we got. We got everything plugged in. That's a lie. Need And I will also go ahead off camera and I will also deal with the wiring, because routing wires, you guys know it's not the most fun thing to do. That's got to be done. And then the batteries I'm going to be running in this are going to be just ProTech 1400 3S, nice, compact, lightweight. Before I bought this, the only like shorty pack I had was like a 3600 Gen Ace, which is way too big. Definitely a lot of weight there. But we're gonna go ahead, plug the battery in, turn the radio on first, which I had this receiver in the VRD carbon to kind of play around with, get used to a little. I don't think I have things plugged in properly. Hold, please. Turn the radio back on.
Welcome to Noble Plus.
There we go, and then we're going to turn on the truck. Okay, still not making the correct noises. I was just dumb and had things, not plugged into the correct spaces, which helped. But now, since the NSD RC RS700 V2, I said that like it was a game show, is a direct power servo, and it won't function if you just have the servo lead plugged into the receiver. So, brings our next part, which is a 3S LiPo connector or adapter, whatever you want to call it. You can get it from Reefs, which is where obviously you see where I've got mine from. You can also get connectors with the red JST already connected, or you have to do some soldering of your own. But these are super simple. They just plug into the red JST on the servo, and then this plug here just plugs into your LiPo balance plug for your battery. And we have steering, obviously not right now, and we also have throttle, which is nice, we need. But as you can see, this is going forward, this is going backwards. So I need to go into here, settings, we go throttle, nope. This is still kind of new to me, so please be patient. Oh, here we go. Okay. Interesting. Okay, usually you have to run your throttle in reverse because the extra set of gears in the portals make forward, backwards, backwards, forwards. But this is just the way I have the transmission turned around, because it's a 3-gear. But I know that mesh might seem a little too tight. I'll play around with it, but you have throttle, which is nice. Okay, I'm going to shut everything off.
Power off receiver first.
Yes.
Shutting down.
So I'm going to take this, shut you off on the floor. But also, I have something else you may have seen in the body. I have one of these guys. These are a power spike sensor. You can kind of think of this as your surge protected power bars, where you get power surge and it kind of protects whatever you have plugged into said power bar, like if you have a game console or anything like that. But this in the RC world will just protect whatever you have this plugged into, like let's say your servo, so it doesn't take out your servo if you're in the middle of a comp and then all of a sudden you have no steering and then there's 10 points, sort of. So these bad boys, this does a little bit of protection, and then we're going to stick this into where our servo goes, and then also plug it into the adapter cord here that goes there. And then if we get any power spikes or anything like that, this will help protect it. That's a nice little extra layer of protection. But there we have it. You guys seen it move under its own power. I have some things to do off camera, like tidy all this rat's nest up. That mesh I'm gonna have to play with a little. I need 2 more screws on the bottom of that skid plate. And yeah, we're gonna be ready to rock for Sunday. Can't wait. Unplug this. I also have a surprise that I'm going to go pick up tomorrow that I've bought, which I am been really excited to come in for. And it's been really expensive, like the most expensive RC I've ever bought. So if you want to take a guess on what that is, leave a comment down below. That's fine. And before we go, I am just gonna give a quick shout out to where did the sticker go? Bamf Tiger inserts. They're great. I've been running them in my carbon for a bit, as you guys seen. I've had the wrong ones in there. Still performs great. I have the right ones in for my application, so this should perform even better, and that is what I'm running in here as well. And man, was it a pain in the ass to get those inserts and the clamp ring in here. I really had to push down on them, but that's what you get when you run those 2 things. It's great. They'll take care of you. Any tips, tricks, anything you need help with, they'll be more than happy to help you. English is slowly depleting from my brain from being up since 4:30 in the morning. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you Comp Day Sunday.